Hello, dear Planeteers. This is Gigaschatten, and we are in tutorial number 4. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you and present to you more resources you can use to get an advantage over other players or even understand the game mechanics better. Planets.nu is a very old game, as stated in one of the other tutorials. It was developed 1990 by Tim Wisseman, or I don't know exactly how to pronounce this correctly. Sorry, Tim, if I did or said something wrongly. So kudos to him. He developed that way back in a time where the internet was beginning, and at that time, the game and the data itself was exchanged either via mailboxes or via floppy disks. And at that time also many or some players at least created own websites, and then stuff like race guides were created, other tools, because planets.nu is based on a lot of rules, right? And we will explore some of them in this tutorial here. And I just want to present you the tutorials and resources I use even still today. And maybe you find them helpful, maybe not, but at least you are aware that they exist. And we are going to have some look into those. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And without further saying, let's start. So the first and most important resource for you is still planets.nu, the website itself, and especially the section how to play. Here you can really explore everything, and even if you just watch my videos, I can't tell you everything which is there, because it's really deep. If you start with it, it's like in the Matrix. It's almost like a rabbit hole, and you start learning something, and then suddenly another info comes up, and you hear this and that, and you are surprised that you didn't know it. Some of the stuff you don't necessarily need to know, because the UI shows you some things and explains them. Others give you an advantage. So if you see this how to play site, I can urge you just read through it. So you will see a lot of information, not only race specifics, but also on the dashboard, although we had partly covered some of that. Then, setting colors, warp wells, etc. And everything you know here will give you an advantage. Okay. Now, what else is there? So, okay, you have these videos, you have this documentation. There's something called the Planets magazine, and all of these links, by the way, they are below the video. So all of these links are listed there, and there are tons more, right? I'm just showing you the ones I use, okay? And here, again, I think this is third party. Also, the users are also tagged here. Here you see, for example, Nerf. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry. And you see, this is a magazine, and from time to time, and this, you see, it is maintained very well and very nicely, and you get up-to-date information. Here on March 13th, there's a first contact etiquette, right? It also says too long didn't read, there's none, be the change. And if you want to have a look, you can click here and then read through it. And it says certain things also for beginners. If you do first contact with your neighbors, what's good? Be polite, reply to your messages, don't give away the store, be honest, remember it's a game. Okay, this is just a general how you should behave kind of thing. But then you also see something else where you say, okay, I want to know how to play the Birdman. Yeah, I'm a fan of the Tal Shiar, the Romulans, but I heard they're weak. Is that true? And then you click here, and then suddenly you see, yeah, first turns the Empire of the Birds. What should I do? Right? And then you see, same guy actually, did one in August 18th, 2021, and he did one in September. And then you can see, okay, this is someone else, but it's going back to 2014. And yeah, So besides, and you also have race guides at planets.nu, right? But still, you can read through them, and you have like race guides for every single race. But not only that, this magazine covers more than that. You can read about strategies, you can read about certain, game types, then I don't know, you have editorials, then you have something like what should I build the first turns, and everyone's opinion is different, right? But you can explore that, and yeah, it's a great source, and I can just tell you from time to time, have a look here. Some things might be interesting for you, some might not be, and here you see it's also nicely structured. You have the news, how to play, facts, figures, and tables. So you can see if you click here, and then you see some things are maybe a little bit older and they might be not up to date, but still, have a look and yeah, read through it. The next one, this is rather new. I don't know if you have started it. At planets.nu, there's a news feed, and it is good, right? You see many people participating, they're writing a lot of stuff, but it doesn't have the depth of a forum. Yeah. And a forum is something which is more persistent, which you can more easily access because, and for that, one of the players at planets.nu, his name is Commander Koski. I think he is from somewhere in Scandinavia. I'm sorry, Mr. Koski, if I don't exactly know where. Finland, Norway? Can't remember. However, he, within his spare time, had the idea, I want to build a forum. At some point of time, he had enough time, and then, he just did it. So he built this great forum. It's called planets.flarum.cloud. And yeah, here you can see strategy discussions, the meta, lore, races, and game modes and everything. And it is a really nice forum, and Koski himself is especially a very good player. So you can learn a lot from him just by reading the stuff here. Yeah. As I said, it's a real good forum. And if you, for example, say, I think I'm not doing very well on my economy, and yeah, is there something I can change? Yeah, and then, for example, you suddenly have maybe the Federation and the Lizard, they have terraformers, right? And they can change the planet's temperature. And then you could then read something about that. But you don't only get necessarily just one opinion, maybe in this case Commander Koski, but other people. They start and adding their points and they're discussing these things, right? Or if you yourself, as a beginner, really have a question, and it may be as stupid or simple as you might think of, in my opinion, there are no stupid questions in the world. Even if something is very obvious, it might be not obvious for you. You can ask the question here, right? These kind of people who discuss here are usually very friendly. Some people at planets.nu are not, but that's again a basis for discussion, right? But I think here you can quite safely ask your questions because Koski is, I think, moderating this, and yeah. And as I said, there are even topics like what is good planets, how does it affect your life? And you might laugh, but some people have a kind of a burnout, right? Even at some point of time, if they play too many games. And yeah, so you have a resource here. It's called planetsflarum.cloud. Visit it, make an account, be part of the community. Even if you don't want to post, just create an account so Commander Koski sees, yeah, this is well accepted. And over time, this is growing and growing and will be another great resource to the other stuff. Then what I want to present you is something very old. And look at this copyright, 1998 till 2017. It's called Donovan's VGA.com. And this is also the URL. And if you click, for instance, on something like WinPlan, that they're like, if you click on pictures, let me see if they're still here. Not sure if I can find them. Orphan view. Okay. Nevertheless, this is a very, very old. Ships might not be any more, correct. And also this WinPlan, these clients, they don't apply, but you have some race guides here. And as you can see, there are a lot of them. So you also have newer ones, but if you would like to understand, it really helps to read even these old guides because they don't change that much. The Cyborg always had a fire cloud, the Evil Empire, had this and that. They always had a superstar destroyer which can take over star bases and planets by just dropping 10 clans without fighting, and so on. Okay, so this is one you can choose, and here let me check what happens here. Newbies will explain, and then it says we'll explain the concept, play by email games, and so on. So this is a kind of a nice site. It's old but gold. And the next one is the same. This is the so-called VGA Planets Calculator site. It's also very old. You can already smell the old scent of this site. However, it has its benefits. And in this case, for example, there's something I haven't seen it on any other site yet. What I use most is this table here. This table shows you how many clans you need to, at minimum, deploy on a planet so that it grows, right? So that the colonists grow, sorry. And what are the maximum populations supported by the planet's temperature in regards to which race you chose. So let's take the rebels. If you see rebels like icy planets, yeah, they can like sustain on. So first of all, okay, 50° is the sweet spot for almost every race where they grow as much as possible. There are exceptions. For example, the crystals, their sweet spot is 100°. Yeah, so here they can support up to 10 million colonists, whereas all the other races, their sweet spot is at 50°. Okay. Then you also see, if I have a 0 temperature planet, as a rebel, I can put 900 clans on that planet. As other races, if I put more, let's take these two, more than 29, they will die because of freezing. So you can start with, drop 100 clans, and at a certain point, at each turn, some amount of those clans will die, and that's it. And you can see that already here via this list. Then there, you also see if the planet is too cold, so this is until, 14 temperature, can support up to 309. Any excess, as I said, will die. But if you have 309, the colonists will stay there. Means they will not grow. And the same applies for high temperatures. Here you also see that at certain, you can up to 85° from 100, you can sustain a min population or max population. But everything on excess will die, but they won't grow. However, if you deploy 22 clans, as most races, on an 84° planet, then they will start growing. And this is now for Timhost. There was a P-host at that time. The figures were changed, but I think planets.nu is more or less related and relies on Timhost. So you get a glimpse of that. Okay? So I'm using this mainly to calculate stuff, but there's more. You can calculate native, happiness, growth, whatever. I'm not using that. And also you could calculate how much a rebel ground attack will do to the planet, but you have to fill out so many stuff. It's a bit too much, so I don't use these. And yeah, but it's up to you. You can use it or not. I don't think the other stuff is very reliable anymore. But yeah, another resource for you. Then one of the most important ones ever is the so-called planets.nu host order. Now, what is a host order? Like in chess, as I told you, planets.nu is like a game of chess where 11 players make their move simultaneously. In reality, it's not 100% simultaneously, right? It will try to calculate and balance, because you can't just say, okay, because this person moved first, his ship will fly first. That's not how it works. But it tries to balance what everyone did. And then there are game mechanics within your turns where it says, okay, first of all, planetary structures, or here, client-side actions, cargo transfers happen first. They are client-side. Means you have a freighter, and if you click on transport clans to a planet, this will happen first. Unless ship is empty, we will see stuff like that. There are exceptions, right? Next, factories are going to be built. Next, star bases are going to build. And then ships will cloak. And then, and so on, and so on. Now you might say, yeah, okay, great that I know that this is happening, but from turn A to turn B, I see the results. Why would I care? Well, there are certain things which influence other things, and then you might ask yourself, can I do action this and that if something else happens? Let's make an example. Let me see if I can find the tax here somewhere, or let me just explain it. There, cut this out. Let's do tax. You see, taxes are produced first before the Borg assimilate natives. What does that mean? So what I can do is I can overtax like natives. Let's say I have a planet and I have 1 million Borg, 1 million natives. My question is, can I tax the natives like normally over below 40% happiness? The natives will start rioting and destroying buildings, and you will lose factories, they will kill colonists and so on. However, at the same time, the Borg assimilate natives. Okay? And here you can see you first produce the taxes, right? If the happiness is over 30, then the Borg assimilate the natives. And then if there are no natives left, the natives, let's say, would have had happiness below 40%, riots would normally happen. But that way, that since the Borg assimilation and taxes happen up front, that you can safely overtax the natives. And stuff like that is important to understand what happens at what point of time during the host run. Okay, so this is great, and this is also from planets.nu. And then there are scripts developed by third parties. And one of the most famous ones is, I think, Whisperer. And I apologize already for all other script makers. But the ones, for example, I use from Whisperer is this one. It's also part of planets.nu, at least on the website. Looks a bit different. But here you can, for example, say, I am the Federation and I am going to build a Kitty Hawk class cruiser, and it has Nova Drive 5 and blasters, and I would like to know the military score. Why? Because the military score is also displayed for every race, and if a guy only builds one ship, let's say he is a Fed player, one ship, and he built a ship which has a military score of 1290, I would find it out like this here. I also get the information on what happens if this ship would hit a mine. How much damage would it actually take? So it would take 57% per mine. And how many supplies do I need to repair it? Since 1% is going to be repaired by 5 supplies, 5 times 57 is 280. If I hit a web mine, how much damage will I get? And you see, this is fairly easier to repair. So a Kitty Hawk class carrier, I don't know the cargo now by hand, Do we see it here? No, we don't see it here. Would be also nice. But you would then, know, okay, then maybe I have a crystal web minefield. I'm going to fly in, and I should maybe carry 30 supplies with me. Okay. And you also, do you see the hull and the weight? The mass, yes, here it is, 173. Change? No, it does. Yeah, it does. Here you see. The mass of the ship changes with the components, right? Every component has a certain mass. And let me see if I get a change. Yeah, here I get a change. So I think the engines don't influence the mass, but the beams do. Yes. And then if you see the weight indicator on one of the ships, you can, kind of guess a little bit what kind of ship it has, how much mass, what does it, transport. You will count in the cargo and stuff like that. Okay. So these are just a couple of links I would recommend, but there's tons more, and I hope this helps you a little bit. And with that being said, hope to see you soon in one of the games. And the next tutorial, number 5, will cover playing against a computer, how to set up a game, and we are going to explore the first couple of turns for each race. So I will try to give you a small race guide and also give you a hint on what I think is a beginner-friendly race, because there are races which are really, really hard to play. And with some races, it's not hard to play, but hard to win. And other races are like more easy on beginners, right? And we are going to focus on those. Okay, with that being said, hope to see you soon in the next tutorial. With that, Gigaschatten over and out.